Hello there, it is your favorite half Persian, half Mexican, half black, half Peruvian comedian. And as you know, ethnicity means absolutely nothing, so we just bring it up as if it's some sort of a merit badge the way Kamala Harris does, depending on which crowd she's talking to. Because as a woman of indigenous color from Jamaica, India, and being black from Oakland, I just want you to know, every sentence starts like that, and then you're like, okay, what's the point? And then she goes, I just wanted to order a turkey sandwich on rye. It's like, we didn't need to know all that. That's why I throw it out there in case you're wondering. And if you're wondering what kind of show this is, well, it's not the Trevor No Laugh show on Comedy Central. This is not the Stephen Colbert show. It's not the Jimmy Kimmel, Jimmy Fallon, Jimmy Ellen show. She doesn't have a show. And it's not the Tonight Show. You're watching The Right Show. You get more entertainment for free in this 45 minutes to an hour than you're going to get on all those shows combined. And I wrap truth, okay? I wrap my jokes in truth, and they hit harder. Does that make sense? With that said, I want everyone, if you're listening to this on the podcast, to know that we go live on Wednesdays usually, but today is a special Thursday episode. The reason we're going live on a Thursday is because today is the first day in a month that I'm out of Facebook prison. If you don't know what Facebook prison is, it's when someone on the right makes a lot of jokes or proves a lot of facts or posts an article that Facebook or Fascist Book deems not allowed on their profile. Then, without warning, they just cancel you from getting into your account. You can try to get in and it says you're banned for 30. They pick a day. They're like 7 days, 21 days, 30 days. They just pick a number. There's no way of knowing when you're about to cross a line. One day making fun of Caitlyn Jenner is okay. The next day it'll get you banned. One day saying vaccines are great is okay. The next day saying I don't want the vaccine, you're banned. You can't even say the word vaccine half the time. You sure don't type it. We got to think of cryptic ways of sharing all the information we want to share, speaking in code, because Big Brother is always watching. So today is the first day after a month I've been allowed back in my Facebook page. And if you know anything about my YouTube page in the last month, it's gone up 50,000 subscribers. So why would Facebook ban me from my page? Is it to keep maybe 30 viral videos from being exposed to my fans and then making me have another 40, 50,000 followers on Facebook? Probably. But they just say, no, we just want to make sure you're a good part of our community. Have you seen the Facebook community? Have you seen the way people interact on there? If you're on one side of the political aisle, they don't ever ban you. They might ban some nobody every now and then just to be like, we're equal. But it's Candace Owens, Ben Shapiro, Thomas Sowell, Larry Elder, Dennis Prager, Kvon Moeezy getting banned nonstop. And then Doug Stevens, the plumber who didn't like a Republican and called them a Nazi 78 times and a racist 43 times. And then finally was banned for one day. So that's what we're dealing with. I am out of Facebook jail, out on bail, fresh out of jail, California dreaming. Name that rapper. So what you got to do, podcasters, is try to watch us live. But if you can't, look in the description, and I'm sure you'll find a link to where you can see the images we're going to watch today. The question of the day, we always start with the question of the day. Where are you from? And what year did you graduate high school? The reason we like to know that is high school is on my mind right now, and I'll explain why. I was asked to do a graduation comedy show. I have never done a graduation comedy show, but the good people of Kansas emailed me. They said, we want to do comedy. The kids aren't really supposed to be dancing. They're not supposed to be super close, this and that. We want to do a comedy night. Everyone can stay seated. But what I loved about the show in Kansas, the students were very well adjusted. There was nobody trying to protest or there was no radical leftist at that school. They were just there, ready to have fun. They obviously loved their parents, were going to go off to college and do great things, and this was a night of laughter. And that is what comedy is supposed to be. It's not supposed to be a UFC brawl and battle just to get on stage, tell a few jokes, and get off. I don't know why the radical left wants to do that. Every time I go to perform and there's a radical leftist in the crowd, if they're outnumbered by conservatives or moderates or liberals, true liberals, not leftists, if they're outnumbered, they'll cross their arms and stare at me. Let's say a boyfriend's like, babe, we got to go see Kvon. He's my favorite comedian, but she's a radical leftist. She will make it known that she is there by protest. And when people are laughing, you can see the little turkey gobble. You know, like the head going, why are they laughing at this? This goes against everything I learn on CNN. Well, it's because we're not watching CNN and we don't care about MSNB Seesaw. We are here to laugh and have a good time and live our life. So the graduation episode is on my mind because this graduation was a huge success. You got to understand, as a comedian, when you do a show for the first time, you're wondering, what is this gonna be like? Well, I figured why not just show you. Here are some highlights from the Goodland, Kansas high school graduation comedy show. Enjoy.
Black and gold, cowboy, cowgirl, welcome to Kvon.
Because I've never been here before, so yeah, and I might never come here
Again, so let's be honest, there are not many reasons to come to Goodland, Kansas. But when I got the invite, I said, yes, please, I want to see this place for myself. So here you are, beautiful people. Give yourselves a round of applause. And I love my opening act. My opening act, I usually travel with an opening comedian, but, you know, Travis did a great job. And his first joke was, I've never done this before. So like every girl I ever dated, you know, that was nice. She just turned red. She's used that line before. Yes. All the other girls, don't call on me, I've used it too. I guess a lot of you are seniors? Seniors?
Yeah, all of us.
All of you seniors. Wow. Okay, so you're all graduating in like a week. Saturday. But they told me that, see, in the email, they said be very careful, they're very young, we don't want to offend them, and a lot of them are Christian. They did, they said keep it PG for the kids. We're fine. Excuse me, 18 in 1 week. Hey. Wait, who's 18 here? Who's 18 years old? Wow, okay, I can date half of you, literally. Look at all the parents. No! Who's 17? Where's a 17-year-old? 17. Oh, just 4 of you. All right. Yeah. Okay, and then who's 16? Where's the really smart kid? There's always one. Oh, not at this school. There is no really smart kid. No Doogie Howser. Yeah, and they told me to dress nice, but now look at you guys. This was a stupid idea. They told me it's like a graduation event, so I'm expecting like ball gowns and women in heels. Like, now we're doing blue t-shirts. Everybody do it. Blue t-shirts and your best trucker hat if you think that big one. This is the future gas station employee of America table right here. I'll be working at a truck stop somewhere off of I-70. For sure. Good. Thank you for coughing during COVID right in the front row. I'm so glad that we're 3 feet apart, not 7 feet. But that's what comedy's all about. We're going to laugh, we're going to have a good time. But first, I need to make sure you guys know how comedy works. Who has never been to a comedy show in their life? I won't make fun of you. Just never been, never. Okay, wow, half. Okay, so who has been? Really? Okay, couple people. Who have you seen live? She live. I knew it, right? She don't make a horse sound if you know which comedian.
What'd you think of that? How cool is that? The students were having a good time and I was so loose. When you haven't done comedy in a while, you're like, okay, I've got these old jokes, or I'll just notice everything going on and make fun of it. So the girl coughed, I'm like, boom, COVID joke. Somebody sneezed. I'm like, what are you doing? You super spreader, whatever it was. And it was like really cool. So sometimes you drop the act and whatever happens randomly is even funnier in that moment. If you know what I'm talking about, say hell yeah. All right. So that is what those students needed. They needed a laugh and they needed a break from politics. And what I told the students at the end was, you're about to go off to college and you are going to be taught to be offended by everything. You're going to be taught to be a victim. Social currency right now in the university is who's the biggest victim and how were you victimized and who's hurt the most. And people are trying to outdo each other and it's creating a whole world of losers. So I told them, remember, you're coming from great families. Go to college, get the education you need, leave all their crap behind. You don't have to take it with you, and have a great time. Do you like that message? Do you approve? Of course you do. We are here to reject the narrative of victimhood. We're here to work hard, succeed, and laugh a lot. And that's what I've done ever since college. Life has worked out great for me. Those that have rejected my advice. And look, things will always go wrong in your life some way or another. Health, family members, personal stresses, situations, and yes, there are true victims of things out there. But to remain a victim or to work yourself up into being one makes you a volunteer. Don't be a volunteer to be a victim. My next cities I'm going to are DC, Minneapolis, Irvine, California, and Liberty, Ohio. Who's going to come check me out in one of those cities? I hope you will. And if you're saying, Kvon, no, you're not coming to my town. You should come to my town. There's 2 ways to make that happen. 1, you email the local comedy club and you're like, hey, bring this guy. Here's his website, www.kvon.tv. And if you CC me in that, info@k-voncomedy.com, I will double team the club owner together. Remember, clubs have been closed for over a year. Many of them not opening back up. They're not answering their emails. So why wait for them? Why not put on your own comedy event in your own backyard? The great weather is coming, or in your living room, or we call the local pizza parlor. Say, do you have a little stage in the back room? Can we have the banquet room? We're going to get 70 of my closest friends, and we're going to bring the most famous half Persian, half Mexican, half Peruvian, half black comedian. They're like, how many people are coming? Oh, it's just 1 and his opening act. So 2. But we're going to have a great time. We're going to laugh at JJ's Pizzeria. I don't care what the venue is. I'm like Eminem. This is my moment. I own it. I never let it go. I only get 1 shot. I'm just here to do a show any place, anytime, because a real comedian can turn anything into a standing ovation and an amazing comedy show. If you agree, put it in the comments, and we'll be right back with our comment of the week. One of the greatest parts of this show is we have a little bit of a running theme. We kind of know where we're going, and the comment of the week is always something that'll take you by surprise. This week is absolutely no different. Imagine my surprise when I'm always trying to put up a very positive comment of the week, but that does not really represent half of our population, especially in the United States. For my international viewers, half of America doesn't like America. So there's only 50% of us holding this whole thing together. Maybe it's 40% now. I'm one of them. And I'm going to show you the comment of the week, which was a threat to my personal safety. A little backstory. There's a comedian who hates me because I just started this podcast about 2.5 months ago, and our last episode got 30,000 listens and views in a week. So let's give ourselves a hand. 30,000 listens and views in a week, and his average podcast gets 9 to 12 viewers. So every time I post anything, he makes fun of me or mocks me trying to get famous off of my hard work, because I'm one of the hardest working comedians in the game. I put out a video every single day, and that's my goal. Every single day I'm going to put out a new video for the next 60 days. Okay, maybe I'll take 1 day off or something, but I'm going to schedule them so that even if I take the day off, they're still going to go out. The reason I'm getting success is because I'm out working these people. This comedian happens to be a radical leftist. He's borderline homeless, and people would help him if he had a better attitude, but he's so negative, nobody likes him. Even his own 5 or 6 fans have messaged me personally and said, hey, this guy's going on and on about you, so he's trying to get us all to hate you. And I checked out your stuff. Don't tell him, but it's pretty good, dude. I'm going to come see you live. One of them was a girl he's trying to date. So, that's the backstory. Now let's read the comment. Here it is. And I read. So this guy, his name is Carlos. I don't want to give him any extra fame because he's horrible. But you know what? You're not going to like his stuff anyway, so go ahead and check him out. His friend wrote, hey, Carlos. He calls him Losker. I think that was a typo, but loser, Oscar, Carlos, whatever. I see. Is that Carlos kind of backwards? Who cares? Doesn't matter. Hey, loser Carlos. On site if I ever see this log of S-H-I, bad word, okay, with teeth. I'ma trick him into calling me a N-bing just so I can put hands on him. Now, my podcast listeners, unfortunately, I cannot tell you what this says. You're just going to have to log on and read it for yourself. So what it is Carlos has been hating on me, and he's got like one fan left named Ghetto Benson. Ghetto Benson says he's going to try to trick me into saying the N-word so he has permission to beat me up and put his hands on me. And Carlos encourages violence by saying, please make sure someone is recording you if you get the chance to do that. And Ghetto Benson writes, you already knows I wills. Camille gonna be right there with the phone in hand. Yay. So there's 2 idiots talking to each other. And one of my fans sent me that saying, hey, you might want to be careful. There's now a physical threat. I get these every day because I don't think the way the radical left says I'm supposed to think. So it doesn't really faze me. Plus, I don't know if you can see all this, okay? They might look like designer muscles, but I would hesitate, Ghetto Benson, to approach. But more importantly, you've now just proved with your post a premeditated attack on a famous comedian, which now we have record of, and I have a file, and a lawyer has access to that. Therefore, if you make good on your claim and try to trick me into saying the N-word, which this is what they do now, a lot of radical leftists will lie and say, oh, I just punched that guy, but you won't believe this. He said the N-word. And sadly, so many stupid court officials, judges, somehow think that that's okay. Like in America, we were all taught as kids, sticks and stones may break my bones, but words can't hurt me. However, the radical left has convinced the court system that if this word is said, the word that shall not be said, then I have the ability and the right to physically offend and violate somebody's personal health and safety. This is what they've been taught. So the N-word is this magical word that if it's heard by someone, they must respond to it immediately with violence. And then when they get arrested and they go to jail, they think, the system tricked me. I thought I was allowed to do that. So this is why I'm not really afraid. 3 things going on. I'll defend myself. Number 2, we have cameras everywhere I go. I always have somebody with me. Now we have a written, like I said, pre-planned attack. And we can now get the loser comedian to also be a party to that since he's encouraged it. So it's just one of the things that goes with it. But that's not really so much what I cared about. I want to show you how I'm getting harassed by this little group, a couple of them. As soon as I create anything, they right away try to mock it. And here's one. About 2.5 months ago, I created a GoFundMe. The reason is because I had so many fans going, hey, Kvon, I can't come to your town. I can't go to your next show, but I want to support the cause. I want you to get better lighting, which we have now. Check this out. One push of a button. Wow. Back on. So now we have automatic lighting. We have several $100 microphone thanks to you. We have merchandise. We have wireless keyboards. Okay, we're styling, okay? And every week, my goal has been to make the show better for you. So I started the GoFundMe. Easy way, tax-free way, and it's a tax write-off for you as well, to donate to the show and keep it coming. As soon as I posted it, Carlos, the loser, wrote, oh, Look, he only has $110. What a loser. This guy is not good at comedy. Okay. But what the guy never does, which makes sense, I would be embarrassed as well. He never posts an update to let people know how we're doing like a month and a half later. That would be fair. If you're going to hate on somebody and say how horrible they're doing, then give your fans a 60-day update. Be like, wow, the guy has a lot of support. I have 9 followers on my podcast, and he has 26,000 within a 5-day period, and now he's got several. Put it this way, thanks to your generous donations, we've improved everything, and we've made more money in just 60 days than this guy Carlos has made in his entire career. And if you're wondering if you could check out some of his comedy and then compare the two of us, good luck. No comedy clips. He does get a chance to open for another loser comedian once every year if that guy comes into town. So that's his big claim to fame. All his websites and all his updates and everything is, guess who I used to open for? So that was fun for me, and I hope you enjoyed it too. Let's stop talking about it and transition to the next segment. To watch this show, there are terms and definitions that you need to know, almost like a legend. We're going to have to create a Bible for the show eventually. So many things, Saturday Night Live, we don't call it SNL. We call it Sorry Not Laughing. We have things like that. We don't call just white ladies, you know how they call nosy white women Karens? Oh, she's a Karen. That girl was all up in my business. Sorry, Karen. You need to stop filming me, Karen. We understand on The Right Show that Karens come in all shapes and sizes. They wear disguises. They come in other ethnicities other than white. So we have named our Latino Karens Karanitas. That's not a nosy white lady. That's a nosy Lastinky lady. Lastinks. Whatever they're calling Latin people now on the left, we're calling them Lastinks if they want to put a lot of extra letters in there. And we know that nosy black women with their camera out are Kananes. Hi. Y'all seen some Kananes out there, you know what I mean? They get all up in your business. It's like, excuse me, can I talk to a manager? Can I speak to a manager? I want my meal because I didn't like the way the steak was cooked. I want all of our meals comped. That's a Kanene. Not all. But there are some Kanenes out there. Yes, indeed. And now it is time for our next segment. Conservative versus leftist. I want you to put in the comment just put in the chats. What do you think the difference between conservatives and leftists are? We're going to read some of yours, and then I'll give you mine for the week. How my Kanenes doing? Let's see what you got. Let's see what you've put in the comments. Well, first of all, Rose Nightingale likes Kanenes. Too funny. She is a fan. Oh my goodness, right when I turn my back on you guys, you've been so supportive. I guess that's kind of a big slap in Carlos's face. Thank you, Truth Exposed, for $33.33 in the super chats. Anyone who does a super chat, I try to highlight your name out of respect to you for supporting the show. We have another one that just popped in. Squirrely Girl, every squirrel counts. Thank you for the super chat. Roshi in the house, thank you. And Zissou. Look at the diversity, the support. That is what it's all about, and this is what we do to our haters. We don't just sit there and dwell on anything, put a smile on our face, and do what we do best. We win. All I do is win, 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 win. There's a song like that. I don't know who sings it. All right. What do you call Asian Karens? That is a great question, Helen Tran. Thank you so much. We call them Helen Trans. No, that would be up to you to name the Asian Karens. But what about kimchi's? No, that's not right. That's Korean. You're going to have to think of that. You're going to have to think of what an Asian Karen is. I like that one. We have a great answer from Millenniums. Thank you. Millennium 75 says we call them Kairans. Hi. You can call them a Kairan. Kai, K-A-I-R-E-N. That is right. And I don't see too many Asian Karens. They are far too busy working, making money, and they're very happy and smiley. Look at this. This person has quite a few characters in their name. I can't begin to say it, but they even approve of that. So thank you so much, my Asian imported friend. Perfect. And if you're wondering, is this show racist? Fibble says, as a Japanese speaker, Kairen is hilarious. And because we made you laugh, another super chat. Thank you, Objective Truth. All right, so I've been waiting for you guys to put the difference between conservatives and leftists, and we're just having too much fun. Truth Exposed says, my face is hurting from this show already. Cheek workout, cheek workout. Han says, leftists think they have higher moral standards, but they really ignore basic logic and facts. I would agree. I would agree. And we have one more. Someone said that Asian Karen is Sum Young Ho. I like that one. And what else do we have? Mary in the house says leftists disregard authors or others that think differently from them. Very true, and it's really sad when they do that. They've canceled books, they've canceled comedians, they've canceled speakers who are there to peacefully share different ideas for 45 minutes and go home. They turn it into like World War III, IV, and V. But here is my answer, conservative versus leftist, for the week. Leftists look to the government for their solutions. Conservatives realize that the government is the problem. If you think the government is your solution and you don't realize they are the problem, then you are going to have a miserable life. And that is this week's difference between leftists and conservatives. We do a new one every single week. Go back and watch the previous ones. Those are good too. My fans are smarter than the average fan. They're not a stupid CNN watcher or an MSNBC disciple. There was a video of Biden driving a Ford truck that's like an electric vehicle prototype. And the average person on the right kind of got tricked because the way that it was driving looked weird. Biden's turning the steering wheel 3 times, and then he's going straight still when he pulls forward. And his passenger looks like he's holding a steering wheel and driving the car for him. Like The Simpsons, when you think it's Maggie driving, but it's Mom, Marge. That's what it looked like. However, I'm here to help my fans be smarter than the average. It's fun to make fun of Joe Biden, don't get me wrong. And the fact that I'm in the big truck, beep, beep, come on, man. And really a Secret Service person is driving would be hilarious. However, I did the research so you don't have to. And it turns out, from what we know, Biden is controlling the steering wheel. The car is not responding how you might expect it to. So I forgive you for not knowing if he's really driving. And the Secret Service agent on the side looks like he's holding a steering wheel. It literally looks like he's driving in the passenger seat. And as you know, student driver cars and stuff, they can do that. However, after a lot of research that mainstream media and the journalists couldn't figure out, he's holding a camera, like the in-cabin camera, DSLR camera that was recording the drive. So it looks like a steering wheel from a distance, but don't be fooled. The problem is CNN didn't cover why it looked weird. MSNBC didn't either. They're just like, oh, on the right, they're just crazy. But when you watch closely, and I'm going to slow it down for you, it does look like someone else is driving. Even you can hear one of the reporters going, is he driving? Is he really driving? So even the reporters who are right there had no clue if Biden was driving. So you will be forgiven for being confused because the way Biden moves and walks and drives, it all looks fake. It just looks very fake. You be the judge.
You would always show shots of him jogging, him in aviator shades, and like you paint him as a young geriatric.
0 to 60 in about 4.3. 4.4?
Right.
4 flat?
Well, we haven't released the president.
I should be quiet.
Mr. President, how fast were you going?
Okay, I'm just going to step on it. I'll come off at 80 miles an hour. You'll see what it is, okay? You ready?
Mr. President, can I ask you a quick question on Israel before you drive away?
No, you
since it's so
can't.
important?
Not unless you get in front of the car as I step on it. I'm only teasing. Okay, here we go. You ready?
See it, sir.
You ready? This sucker's quick.
How's it drive?
It's right.
Would you buy one of these? President!
This sucker.
Wasn't that a lot of fun? So now we have dispelled the myth that the passenger was driving, but we still exposed more than the media did. First of all, that first clip you saw was a CNN executive caught on a hidden camera on a date bragging to his Tinder date that they're trying to make Biden look like a cool, young, youthful geriatric. So everything you see with him jogging or leaning up against a hot rod, then they take him directly back to the hospital and his home health nurse has to clean his diaper. So this is all a sham, but this scenario was very funny because you could hear the reporter, and if you don't get a chance, go back and watch this again. You'll hear, was he driving? Is he driving? You can hear that. I tried to heighten the volume, and then I slowed it down. Is he driving? So hopefully you could hear all of that. Let me know in the comments if you could. And thank you. Yeah, Animal Lover says, a cool young geriatric. That was the terminology that CNN used. And and when you watch the amount he turned the steering wheel, Nicholas, he did do a kind of almost a U-turn amount of turn and then pulled forward. I didn't see the car make the turn, but maybe you caught something I didn't. But at least we're not going to get scammed into posting, oh, he's not driving. We're just going to laugh how stupid it looked in the video there. So thank you, and I'm glad a lot of you could hear it. I put a lot of extra effort into that. And had the news just done that, like, yeah, he's driving, and this guy's holding a weird camera with his hand, and this, they can dispel it, because a lot of people had a question, but they refused to do it, which is why I am your new favorite journalist. What is serious, however, is that Biden does not respect our troops or our military. If you know anything about this young, cool geriatric, every time something doesn't quite go the way he thinks it should, he turns to angry mode. We saw this during the campaign when a guy goes, your son has a laptop and you gave him a deal with the Burisma deal where he's getting paid by Ukraine and he had no right to get millions of dollars. You're laundering money through your son. He's like, listen, fat, you want to do push-ups? Come on, man. You want to do some push-ups? You didn't hear that on MSNBC. You're sedentary. I work out. Return to decency. Yeah, right. This is a situation I'm going to share with you now where Biden had heard Reagan give this exact quote, so he tried to give it. He messed up Reagan's quote, didn't get it right, and then yelled at the troops for not approving and clapping for Beijing Biden. So you'll watch this, and then later on you'll go and watch Reagan deliver the little joke, and it's very, very classy. Reagan goes, well, I have found from my Coast Guard aides that the Coast Guard is the hard nucleus that the Navy forms around in times of war and hardship. Basically saying the Coast Guard kicks butt and the Navy is just like, you know.
Most popular president of all time? I don't think so. Check it out.
I can only assume that you will enjoy educating your family about how the Coast Guard is, quote, the hard nucleus around the Navy forms in times of war. You're a really dull class. I mean, come on, man. Is the sun getting to you? I would think you'd have an opportunity when I say that about the Navy to clap, but being here together.
Here's what a popular president to our military sounds like. And here's Biden.
Understanding what you may hear about me, I have incredibly good judgment. One, I married Jill. And two, I appointed Johnson to the academy. I just want you to know that. Just clap for that, you stupid bastards.
And here's a popular president. And here's a montage.
For saluting Marines with a cup of coffee in hand. An act that has quickly become known as the latte salute.
You've got to come and watch this. This was actually a light moment. We just wanted to play it for you. Provide a little relief as we are covering all this serious news. You see a Marine alongside Marine One lost his cap. The president goes to help put it back in. It falls off again as he pats him on the side. He goes and he grabs it again. It's so windy, obviously, from the helicopter. He's trying to right the ship here.
For years, Joe Biden has been recounting a story of American heroism and heartbreak on the front lines, recently telling a crowd in New Hampshire how he traveled to Afghanistan to pin a silver star on a young Navy captain.
And the general wanted me to pin the silver star on. It's the God's truth, my word as a Biden. He stood his attention. I went to pin.
But the Washington Post dug into the story and determined Biden got the time period, the location, the heroic act, the type of medal, the military branch, and the rank of the recipient wrong, as well as his own role in the ceremony.
Now, growing backlash in the New York Post, and this from Republican Congressman and Afghanistan veteran Dan
It is not
Crenshaw.
some people who did something. It's terrorists who killed almost 3,000 Americans, and we should talk about it that way.
I made a mistake in describing it.
She claims she misspoke last week and was sleep deprived when she described landing under sniper fire in Tuzla, Bosnia.
The truth can be slippery.
I want to apologize. I said I was traveling in an aircraft that was hit by RPG fire. I was instead in a following aircraft.
2 of our 4 helicopters were hit by ground fire, including the one I was in.
No kidding.
RPG and AK-47.
I made a mistake in recalling the events.
Well, there you have it. So you could see from that video who has the support of the military and the Americans and who has been kind of installed, if you will. And I also noticed one thing about Democrats. They all have a childhood stutter when they start lying. Have you noticed that? Hillary Clinton said, I want to be very clear. I misremembered, and Biden has a childhood stutter. This is like, to me, it's hilarious, the childhood stutter. So if you ever get caught lying, just be like, I got a childhood stutter on this one, okay? I'm going to have to Biden this one out. Now, today's show has been a little too political, okay? But it is important to know the troops do not respect Biden, and we need to pray for their safety because Biden is making a lot of bad decisions in the Middle East, in Afghanistan. These people, a lot of them enlisted or they, applied or they went to the military academy and they're just coming out. They went in under Trump and now they're coming out under a really weak and horrible leader who's going to put them in great danger. Russia is testing America. Hamas is testing America. Israel is going, what's going on? So this is going to be a huge problem. So we have to pray and we are out here giving our hearts to our soldiers for your safety. And we want you to be able to come home safe. That is very important to mention because the reason leftists are in California going, I don't like the way George Floyd was treated, is because you don't have to have boots on the ground, camouflage, and a 75-pound sack with a rifle protecting your brothers and sisters in a far-off land. You have so much privilege that you think you lack privilege, and that is your problem. But to lighten things up, after all, this is a somewhat of a comedy show. By the way, already funnier than every episode of Trevor No Laughs on The Daily Show. Jon Stewart, pretty good. Trevor, diversity higher. So since this is already funnier and it's with like basically no budget in comparison to his $17 million budget a year for his show, we can run my show on $1,700 a year. Okay, but much better. So it's time to make you laugh again. That's something I still do, and they do not. They're just political hacks. So going back to the high school show, I thought this was a funny moment. Like I said, when you're loose, you're hilarious, you're feeling good, the crowd is giving you what you need back, because comedy's like tennis. If they don't hit the ball back, it's kind of like playing tennis against a wet blanket. This was so funny that this fog machine had not been in operation for over an hour and a half. And it suddenly worked at the most interesting time. Unplanned, unscripted. Watch how it's done.
So, whenever I do stand-up comedy at a comedy club, we just make fun of everything, but here we do have some limitations. I want to read you the email that the school sent. He said, these are good young students. They all get really good grades. This is the best class we've ever had, so please keep that in mind. Best class we've ever had, so please keep that in mind. That's the bullshit meter. If you lie, it squirts. The parents are like, oh, I need that for after graduation. Where were you last night? Just with my friends. Really? Okay, we'll see about that.
What a great class and what a good time. So I hope you enjoyed that. And I do have a few more clips from that show I might be peppering throughout the rest of the summer because honestly, every time I do a show now, I'm going to try to put a camera in two corners of the room. I've had millions of experiences like this over the last 15 years as a comedian, but I wasn't always filming. So a lot of it is just in my head like, oh, that was so funny, this happened, that. And I realized I need to be filming and documenting all of this because every single show has at least one priceless moment that most of the world has never even seen from me. And it's just like, well, I was great over there in Nebraska. No, you weren't, dude. Not unless you can prove it. That's what we're all about. By the way, you like my shirt? For Father's Day, these are the perfect addition. It's the Tanx God t-shirt. They have all different styles. You can pick it up on my website or get your dad the only LGBTQ mug he'll ever want. It's the Let's Get Biden to Quit tumbler. Absolutely. These are a must. Well, it's almost time to get out of here. And you guys have been a great crowd, great audience. I think we have a few more. Wow, we just got another super chat. Thank you so much. Let's see if we can highlight you. We want to try to catch you before your name disappears. It's I miss my son and love your show. Keep it gangsta, boo. Thank you so much. I'm going to try to keep it gangster. I'm going to try to be a Kvon and not a Kanene out there in these streets. And I want to make people laugh all over the world. And I want to wake them up through the art of comedy. Because we have way too much negative energy coming from the radical left. So that is my goal. And every one of you who puts a little money in the bucket has helped me on that mission. The reason is, some of these schools that hire me can't really afford the flights. Or they can't afford the rental car. Did you know rental cars are like $125 a day lately? Depending on the city. Whoa, used to be $40 a day. At most $50. So rental cars trying to get their money back. And I'm telling all these gigs, yes, I'm going to do your show. Because of your donations, I'm just like, yeah, we had a cool sponsor on my live last week. So I'm coming to Kansas. I'm coming to Vermont. I'm going to do the show in New Jersey. So that is all thanks to you. You are making people laugh and bringing laughter. Whether you know it or not, it is happening. We have no corporate sponsors, no big brands. It is just us. And that's how we bring justice. Check out all the people that are involved in this show. These are the Patreons. They donate monthly. Rain or shine. Okay? Then we have, of course, some amazing $100 donors. $100, that's a lot of money. I have 300,000 YouTube subscribers now, as of this week. And if all of them just donated $100, what is that, 30 million? That'd be great. All right. Here we have the $100 sponsors. Big shout out to all of you. And then the under 50 donors, even if it's $2.99, I don't care. Every dollar helps me do shows. Now, I want to get out of here, but now I'm getting a message from the people, Nancy Pelosi's people from California. I don't know if that's a good idea. She's always wanted to come on this show. She's a big fan. If you want to hear from Nancy Pelosi, let me know. If not, I'm fine with just ending it here on a positive note. But I know she did want... Well, let's see what the people are saying. People are saying, no, she's Hitler. Send her to China. She does like to go to Chinatown. Helen says, well, let's hear what she has to say. All right, I think we're going to bring her on. Let me see if her people are still interested. I did make fun of her last week, so I don't know if they caught that. But hold on, let's see. Yep, looks like they want to come on. All right, Nancy Pelosi. I used to live in California. I moved out because of you and your nephew, Gavin Newsom. So the floor is yours, but you could try to win me back as a voter, but I don't know if I will come back to California. There she is. Hello, Nancy.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you for having me. I'm a big fan of the show. I know you're not exactly a big fan of mine, but maybe we could change that. Maybe we could change that today. I have a few ways to get you to believe I am a great leader. One, I would like to give you free things like this pen. I kept this pen from the first time I tried to impeach Donald Trump. Remember that? That was great. And it didn't go too far, but I gave out 72 pens that day for the solemn occasion. It was more like a raffle at the Dodgers game. Anyone who comes wearing blue gets a free pen. And then I could also give you some free benefits, maybe, if you'll vote for me. And my dentures, they start to slip, so I have to suck on them. Hold on. Oh, there was a piece of shrimp in there from Chinatown from earlier. You know, I want all the black and brown people to vote for me. That's the most important, because we're bringing them in so that we can promise them free stuff, and then we don't have to get horrible, racist, Nazi Hitlers like Kvon to even like me. I understand Kvon's father is a Muslim immigrant from Iran, but I still think of him as a Hitler, if that makes sense. And also, oh my gosh, was that a... Oh, wow, that was a wonton. That was from Chinatown, too. Listen, there's something else I want to tell everyone, which is very serious. We had a huge terrorist insurrection on January 6th. Did you know we had that? It was the worst terrorist act, far bigger than 9/11. Absolutely. As I sat in my totally safe chamber, I was rocked to my core. The only one victimized more than me was, of course, as we all know, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, who was a couple miles away that day. But she was scared the most. I was scared the second most. Then Felicia Tlaib, I believe that's her name, and Aisha Presley, who I loved her father, Elvis. What a guy. He could really work those hips. I remember watching Elvis when I was 64 years old. I was just so young. Anyway, oh my goodness. Wow, that was a sesame ball, and it had a little red bean in there. And so listen, had we not stopped the insurrection that I caused, because when Trump asked for more police, I said no, so I could have a flash mob show up and pretend it was the worst terrorist act in the world. It allowed me to impeach him a second time. But think about it, how deadly that was. That day was so deadly because had the guy in the buckskin and the horns taken over Congress, we would all be living under his tenure right now. He would be the president, President Shaman Buckskin with the horns. So thank God that didn't happen. And thank you for having me. Please vote for me and Gavin. We don't want to be ever removed from office. I am slowly devolving into Skeletor, but I hope to be like one of those zombie movies, continuing to lead the rest of the herd from now to eternity. Thank you.
Dude, one thing I hate is listening to someone suck on their dentures while talking. That grated me to my core. I'm sorry you had to deal with that, folks. All right, folks, if you want to support the show, it's very easy. You know what? I don't even know why we're going to do this one. Let's switch this one up. I have a new PayPal. Yeah, it is. It's called Tanx God. So that's how you do it. You just go on paypal.me/TanxGod. But a lot of people prefer this one. GoFundMe.com/Kvon Comedy. Or hit me in the Kanene Cash App, $KVON Comedy, and Venmo at KVON-KVON. Hopefully you laughed a couple times. Hopefully you had a good time. And we've now ended the 12th episode ever of The Right Show. Give yourselves a hand. We are on a roll. Unlike most shows, we don't just end right away. I continue to interact in the comments for the next 3 to 4 minutes, mainly because I want to get back to some of these super chats. These guys are awesome, and we got to honor them. Thank you, Claudia Smith. She says, "You're my favorite Irish Persian dude." All right, that is the show. You guys enjoy the wrap up, and I'll be highlighting your comments if you throw them on the board. We'll be chilling, and I'll see you next week on Wednesday now that I'm back on Facebook and YouTube. So good to have you guys back. I felt like I was like one arm tied behind my back, but we still sold out Miami, Tampa, and we're doing Irvine, Minneapolis, DC, and Liberty, Ohio next. Bye.